Hello, this is Gauntlet UK's first broadcast on Hangouts, as far as I know. We're going to be playing Lovecraftesque tonight, and I'm Rob, and I'm joined by Edwin.
Hello.
And Isa.
Hello.
All right. So we're just going to jump right in and start with the teaching guide. So the first bit I read out, we're going to use this teaching guide to help us learn the game. We'll read it out section by section as we play, so that we're not trying to learn all the rules in one go. If you've got questions, feel free to ask me, but don't worry if in the early scenes you aren't sure how later stuff is going to work. We'll come to it in due course. The player to my left, who is Isa, Isa, reads the next part.
Oh, where am I? Facilitator read out the text at the start, is it the bit, or?
It's the player to my left, the bit.
Here we
go. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't get the links in time when we opened up, so if you could share those so I can quickly open that up.
Edwin. Okay, well, I'll read this bit while we wait. So this is a story game to recreate the slow-building cosmic horror of H.P. Lovecraft. We're going to take turns to reveal strange clues, one scene at a time. We won't discuss where the story is going, but after each scene, we'll privately leap to conclusions about what the clues mean, and then use these speculations to steer our contributions to the story. In the end, one of us will weave it all together, in a terrifying finale.
Okay, so we just need to wait for Edwin to read the next part out.
It's in play aids, is it?
Yep.
It is indeed.
Teaching guide. You can edit this bit out.
Does anyone have editing skills?
Okay, here we are. Each scene will take turns to play the witness, the narrator, and the watchers, or watcher in this instance. The witness is the main character who gradually uncovers a terrible, inhuman secret. They may struggle to overcome that secret, but are doomed to fail, and perhaps to meet a terrible end. The narrator frames scenes, reveals strange clues, describes the people, places, and events the witness is caught up in, and plays walk-on parts. The watchers help the narrator, there's an echo, by adding layers of atmosphere and horrifying detail, and by playing secondary characters if required by the narrator.
Okay, before we start, we all have to have a clear picture of the kind of story we want to tell. Lovecraftian horror stories are about a vast, uncaring universe full of lurking monsters, alien civilizations, and terrifying gods that make human concerns seem meaningless. They don't include ghosts or werewolves or any of the monsters you see in classic Gothic horror stories, folktales, or Hollywood horror movies.
Lovecraft describes alien monsters, like those found in science fiction, and presents them as the denizens of an arcane horror story. The stars and space are vast and terrifying, not wondrous or inspiring. Lovecraft supports this with ancient tomes full of blasphemous secrets and sorcerers conducting sinister rituals to summon abominations from beyond. Apologies. All this is supported by a tone reminiscent of Gothic horror. Elaborate arcane language, forbidding an unfriendly location, people hideous on the island and out who serve these alien masters, and lay upon layers of relentless detail to heighten the tense atmosphere. I can't read today.
Okay. Before we start, okay, this is X card stuff. I don't think we need to go through that, do we?
I understand the X card rules, so
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so just move on to the next part. So we start by going through the setting for our story, which has been established in the scenario that we're using. We should also agree on the general tone of the game. The default tone is creeping horror. I believe the other options are investigative horror, where the witness is actively seeking information about the horror. Heroic horror, where the witness has a chance of overcoming it. And comedic horror, which is not what we're going to do tonight.
Evil Dead-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with creeping horror. I think that this fits creeping or investigative, but creeping's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've decided that we're going to play the scenario Through the Waters Darkly, which is, let me just get the... Go to... All right. So we are playing Through the Waters Darkly. It's set in on the Challenger United Nations research expedition, which is at the bottom of the Mariana Oceanic Trench, 10 kilometers beneath the surface. It's 2025, and our main character is Vicente Fuentes, a marine biologist who is part of a team of experts who have been seconded to the UN from their home institutions. He has a burning need to know what's out there, and a vivid imagination. Burning need to know what's out there is his. What's the name of it again? It's his, it's not his heroic trait, it's his drive.
Yeah.
Something like that,
And his personality trait is vivid imagination. He's an avid consumer of science fiction books and movies.
Right.
That'll help him a lot, I'm sure. Anyway,
Can we put his name in the chat, by the way, because otherwise I'm going to forget it.
It's in the if you go into the Lovecraftesque sheet in the folder.
You filled it all in. Oh, great. Okay. Yep. I did see that. Yep, I've got it.
So the main location is the Challenger expedition. So other locations we have are the Challenger base itself, the Explorer 1 and 2 deep space submersibles, the lower ground of the trench, which is covered in stuff, apparently. You guys have the scenario, so you can read all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a valley to the northwest of the research station. So that's all the information on the setting that I'm supposed to read out to you. We're nearly ready to start our story. Our first scene has to contain a strange clue that hints at the horrors. If anyone has an idea for the first clue, don't tell us, but you can be the narrator for the first scene. At the end of each scene, we'll pass our roles, narrator, witness, watcher, to the person on our left, so everyone gets a go at every role. So does anyone have an idea for a clue? Does anyone have an idea for a clue?
Yeah, I've probably got an idea for one.
Okay.
So you're going to be narrator.
Yeah. I could be narrator.
So that means I'll be the witness, and Issa will be the watcher.
Okay.
Okay, so once someone is volunteered to be narrator, pass out the cue cards. Your cue cards, by the way, I've put them in as character sheets, and everybody should be able to read them.
Okay.
In Roll20. Can you see them?
Let me just check. What, as handouts?
Yeah. Well, they're actual character sheets.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Has he got the scenario in there, or is that in the play aids?
The scenarios in the play aids folder, yeah.
Okay.
Which one's the character sheet? Is it the where it has setting, witness, NPCs?
If you go into it's in Roll20. I've put them in as character sheets in the journal, so you should both have them available in the journal.
Yeah. Which one's the one with the scenario in it? Sorry.
That's the Google Drive folder.
Yeah. Which specific?
Should be the folder that says scenarios.
Yeah, I know. Of course.
I'm not feeling creeping horror right now.
Yeah, maybe Gonzo would have been better. Right.
Oh, by character sheet you mean what the watch can do, what the role is?
Yeah, I've put those in. They're basically as in Roll20 terms, they're character sheets.
Right. Yeah, gotcha. I'm reading it now. Awesome.
Okay. So Edwin, as the first narrator, reads out the next part of the teaching guide.
Okay. Let me just navigating a few different things here. I should probably get another couple of windows open, actually.
Screen share the Lovecraftesque. Now, can you guys see that, or is it just?
I can see a blank screen. Now this is creeping terror.
Okay, do you want to read my bit while you're working out? Okay, the narrator is like the author of a book, except that they don't get to control the actions, thoughts, or feelings of the witness. The narrator says where the scene is set and who is there apart from the witness. They describe the world and anyone the witness meets. They say what other characters do and play them, the way an actor plays a character in a movie. The narrator should bring the watchers in by pausing often to allow them to contribute details and elaborations, and asking them questions about the scene and building on their answers. Finally, they get to choose when to end the scene.
Okay. The witness is the main character and is in every scene. When it's your turn to play the witness, you speak for them, again, just like an actor in a movie. You also say what the witness is doing, but it's the narrator's job to tell you the results of your actions. The narrator is always free to interrupt and tell you that the straightforward action that you're describing is going to be harder than you thought. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, you describe the witnesses' thoughts and feelings, especially their fears and their attempts to rationalize the things they see.
Cool. Everyone else plays the Watchers. The Watchers support the narrator in a number of ways. Lovecraft's stories are full of rich, detailed, creepy descriptions. Watchers bring every scene to life by adding sensory descriptions and elaborating on what the narrator describes. They won't ever take over the scene, introduce clues, or do anything that would change the direction of the story, but they would try to intensify and heighten what the narrator says. In addition, when the narrator asks questions, the Watchers provide an answer. They should respond with the first thing that comes to mind, never overthinking their contributions. Finally, if the witness ends up in a conversation with several characters at once, to avoid the narrator having to talk to themselves, they can ask Watchers to step in and play secondary characters.
Okay. During the first two parts of the game, scenes are focused on revealing clues. During every scene, the narrator has to reveal at least one clue. Clues are the signs that something sinister is going on. Anything that reveals new information about the horror or sheds new light on it is a clue. Clues can be anything from eerie noise or inhuman-looking footprint to an alien artifact or a terrifying vision. When we introduce a clue, we write the details down on an index card. Whatever we write on those index cards we will use to weave the final horror at the end of the game. We can add in bits of atmospheric detail without making them clues, but nothing really weird, and we can reuse old clues without them counting as new clues, as long as by doing so we don't reveal anything new.
Okay. Lovecraft's stories are slow building and until the very end low-key, and leaving room for doubt as to what is going on. Everything we narrate must be possible to explain rationally, even if it strains reason a little. We can't introduce tangible evidence of the supernatural, and we're encouraged to leave plenty of room for doubt. We should also refrain from narrating violence against humans, including the witness, or direct evidence of such. First-hand accounts of any of these things should always be from unreliable sources, always subject to doubt. Even so, clues should always be intriguing, baffling, or scary, not something you could easily forget or dismiss.
Okay, where are we now?
Just page 160.
I think that's you, isn't it, Isa?
That's me. It's me, yeah. Excuse me. So to recap, nobody can narrate violence against humans or clear evidence of the supernatural. However, each of us gets one special card that allows us to break these limitations or go beyond our normal roles. In a two-player game, you get two special cards. Whenever a special card contradicts the rules, the special card wins. Some special cards have an instant effect that are then discarded. Others are permanent. You play them, and then anyone can use the special effects on the special card for the rest of the game. Your special card will tell you when you can use it and what it does. So watch for opportunities to use it.
Okay, and with that, I think we start our first scene. So take it away, Edwin.
Okay, so we're going to start with Vicente. Vicente?
Vicente, yeah.
Vicente. In one of the explorers, retrieving some rock samples from the edge of the trench. We'll say that Yoshi is in the Explorer 1. And you're going through a sort of run-of-the-mill set of situations, set of kind of routine collections. You're kind of calling back to the station, which is the Challenger base, right? Nothing untoward. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you're sort of Yoshi kind of calls out to you and says, "I think I see a giant squid. Come have a look."
So Vicente will move over and lean out to is it on a camera or is it out the window that Yoshi is pointing?
So I think they've got sort of cameras and lights on the bottom of the submarine, and so you can sort of see some sort of dark sort of tentacles sort of in the light. Yoshi's a keen giant squid enthusiast, and he's very excited at the possibility of actually getting to see one for real. So he wants to like detach from the trench wall and just try and follow it down deep into the trench.
Yeah, Yoshi's quite a a round man, really unshaven, wearing a cap, and always has like a half-smoked cigar in his mouth.
Okay, I'm liking it.
Yeah, let's.
We can do this later. We can come back. We can mark where we are, and we can come back. Come on. How often does this happen?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Yeah. So Vicente sets the marker on the, I think it's like a buoy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a floating buoy that gives off a signal to mark the location.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start heading down to check out the squid.
Okay, so you go deeper and deeper, and then all of a sudden you kind of get a sort of buffeted by something that these are sort of quite small, sort of bubbly kind of little submarine type little things. You get buffeted and you see like a large tentacle kind of come past the window, and Yoshi's kind of scrabbling for his own kind of little like GoPro style camera to put on, so he can he's really excited. But like as you get buffeted, like some of the light on the submarine kind of flickers a bit, but as it makes contact, the electricity within the submarine kind of like flickers.
Okay, so Yoshi, just pull back a little bit. Don't get too close.
Hey, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Do you know how many times these things have been seen? And he's kind of like, attaching the GoPro. So the giant tentacles kind of come toward, like they actually come right up like that, and then kind of suck back down. So he's kind of like trying to scrabble to the controls to go deeper into the trench. Probably a little bit deeper than he'd been before, maybe.
So I'm just keeping an eye on the video feeds from the cameras, and just keeping a half an eye on the depth meter.
Yep. Okay, and then out of the front window, and you can see them on the cameras. You see sort of as you go deeper, you see like twinkling lights of like that were in like tower forms, like sort of lights on a sort of building, if you like loads and loads of them in the distance in front of you.
What?
Like set on the trench, like if you imagine like a sort of Aztec building on the side of a trench, but lit. That's what it looks like. It looks like you could, like a village or something on the side of this trench. All of a sudden, you sort of comes into view.
So I'm trying to get that on the I'm trying to get footage of that on the cameras to take back. And Yoshi, are you seeing this?
He's too busy sort of leaning to try and find the squid. And as you say, are you seeing this? Like you see the tentacles of the squid sort of strike your the front of the vessel, and all the lights go out on the submarine, and that's the end of the scene.
Okay. So any new traits that we want to add to Vicente?
Let's have a quick look.
Actually, hang on. Before the past, let's see. At the end of the first scene. Okay. After each new scene, we add one new trait to the witness's index card based on how they were portrayed in the scene. Okay.
Cautious or nervy, maybe?
Did he play him nervous or cautious, though?
Or sensible, maybe? I don't know.
I think it's either one of those, but burning need to know what's out there doesn't really fit with sensible. So cautious, I could see, or nervy, but not sensible. Yeah, okay. What are those? So you're trying to stop Yoshi from like completely. Yeah, I'm all for finding out what's out there, but you're kind of conscious of the dangers of the depths that you're at, kind of thing. So yeah, but would you say that he's slightly pragmatic then? Yeah, pragmatic. Yeah. I mean, he was sort of looking at the depth gauge, making sure that he didn't run headlong into danger. Pragmatic sounds good to me. Cool. Okay. So, pragmatic. Now it's time to consider what we think the true horror might be. Before we go ahead, what was the clue? The clue, I think, is the haunting lights on the edge of the trench. Yeah, I kind of wrote ahead and put Aztec building in trench with lights. Yeah. Not that it's going to be Aztec, but yeah, I was trying to describe. Do you know what I mean? No, it's those like it's not Aztec. It's like those caves that you are sort of built into have kind of been carved out of mountainsides or whatever. Oh, okay. So not like sort of ziggurat style, weird. Like, well, I'm not saying that that's not the case. I'm just saying that it's not visible at this point. Sure. Right. Okay. So it's just like building lights effectively in the site at a depth within the trench that's just slightly deeper than they've been before. Yeah. Okay, so Aztecish structure in trench with lights. Okay, yeah, let's go with that. Okay, so now it's time to consider what we think the true horror might be. We're going to be making some pretty wild guesses, especially at this early stage. But we shouldn't let this hold us back. Instead, leap to a conclusion as fully developed and specific as you can make it and write it down in a couple of sentences. Don't show anyone else. We'll update our ideas at the end of every scene. When we're narrating, we should base our clues and other contributions to the story on these conclusions. At the end, we'll use them to give us a strong idea of what the final horror could be. Okay. Can I play my card then? Sure. First scene, Ed. Come on. You asked who wanted to go first. So. No, I'm good. Oh, that's cool. I wonder what his card could be.
Can you see that? It's gone all a bit funny.
Where is it? There it is. Yep, ancient civilization.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, now I know why you went for that.
Yes, I mean basically reveal clear signs of pre-human life in part 1. So I've just revealed like some buildings.
Okay.
So these are things you can do. You don't necessarily have to do them. Is what I'm saying. Don't make it steer your story.
Alright. So if you guys want to, like, maybe open up a Drive document for making your conclusions.
Yep, I'm going to just quickly do that.
I'm just sort of writing them down here, if you don't mind. I can add them in later.
I forgot my pen, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go paperless.
I'm going old school.
Okay. So now play passes to the left, which means Issa will now be the narrator. Wait, hang on. I was the witness, so now the watcher. Edwin is now the witness, and no. I'm
narration. That's cool.
Am I the witness then?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense. Yeah. So, I am watcher. Sorry, I was getting mixed up. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So the lights just went out in the Explorer. So how does Vicente react to that?
So Vicente just actually being pragmatic, he's just going to go up a level and just make sure everything checks out. So he's going to get out of that sort of the ravine and go topside. I don't know how far that was, but it couldn't have been more than sort of a 10-minute journey down the sort of the ravine, and he's just going to check out all the systems. Did we establish, was Yoshi in another submersible, or was he?
No, he's like he's the pilot basically.
He's in there with him, isn't he?
He's the pilot. You know, Vicente is the researcher, so he's not necessarily trained to pilot the thing himself. So he needs someone with him to do it.
Yoshi, did you see that over in the sort of the end point in that trench? Did you see those lights?
Lights? No, I saw. You know, I was looking at the squid.
I'm telling you, there was something out there, but I don't think the submersible is in good shape right now. But we ought to look. We ought to see what's out there. I'm telling you, there could be something. There could be something that's a scientific discovery, something that's never been seen or found before. We could be famous.
The radio sort of crackles a bit in the background, like that. Like you can just, it sort of comes into life a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds as if there's maybe the Explorer base is trying to get in contact with you, but there's some sort of interference. It's breaking up the signal.
Oh, it's probably bloody Ursula again, finding out why we're late. What do you think, Yoshi? I mean, look, I've done a prelim check of the sub. I'm no bloody engineer, but it looks all right. The lights seem to be on. I can't see that squid anywhere, which is good news. I reckon it's probably about another 30-40 minutes up the trench. We could go there.
You sure you saw something? I mean, might just be phosphorescent flora.
Yeah. I'm going to turn off the radio.
Right.
Such a worry. What? God, Russians for you.
Just as you are about to turn the radio off, you hear the muffled voice, but you also hear it's almost like there's another voice on top of it. It doesn't sound like English or any language you recognize.
Just going to look over at Yoshi. Now, you heard that, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to do an impression of it? Like a kind of... How's that?
It's just static.
Are you serious? I've not heard static like that. Unless I'm watching, I don't know, unless it's something from Night of the Living Dead coming through.
Yeah, so I think it's like that, and then it kind of goes back to straight again. So it's like the two.
See, it's fine now.
I'm telling you, there's something out there. We're in good shape. I think we should do it.
I think we should end the scene there.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say that the clue was the strange voice on the radio.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think my current outlandish theory has changed.
And do we have any new traits for Vicente?
No, I think you played it right into his normal trait.
Yeah. Okay. So leap to some conclusions, and then it will be Issa's turn to be the narrator, Edwin's turn to be the witness, and my turn to be the watcher.
Right, I'm going to take this opportunity quickly to read my card.
So was Yoshi keen to get back? Is that what was established?
Yoshi is...
Convincible at this stage.
Yeah.
Invincible or convincible?
Convincible.
Okay.
I'm invincible. Famous last words.
Okay. Okay, I think I've got something. It's a bit linear progression.
That's cool. I think it's fine. I think if we do like a micro timescale thing, that's quite cool.
So my scene starts after Vicente has convinced Yoshi to go down to the ravine. I think we've established that he was malleable enough to agree with Vicente. So I think what is happening in this scene is that they are now en route, and they're probably about halfway there, and it's been about 25 minutes, and and there seems to be a bit more of a bend than first anticipated into the ravine. It kind of S's. You begin to see something. There don't seem to be any lights, but there does seem to be something that doesn't seem natural, like not a natural rock formation. But you can't really make out any details. But you're soon approaching a bend, and you're going to lose sight of it until you reach the other side.
Okay.
Watcher, do you want to embellish that with anything?
You can see glimmers of it's maybe just a trick of the light with the water, but you think you can see the tentacles of that squid lurking in the depths nearby.
Okay, so you're saying like we come round and there's like an S bend, and we can see we if we follow it down, we'll be able to get close to that, and that's where the squid tentacles are as well. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. So you've kind of sort of descended slightly, and you're going to hit this S bend, and you're going to lose sight of what you saw beforehand. But once you get to the other side of it, you ought to be able to see it again.
Okay. So I'm like, look over there. If we grip to the wall, we can get some of our deep sea diving gear out and go and look.
Yeah, I keep seeing that squid, and I'm an avid kind of fan of Ika, as we say in Japan. And that is one big Ika, and it's not behaving in a way that squid usually do. This is making me a little bit nervous. I'm not in.
I think you're just worrying too much, Yoshi. I think the deep sea air is getting to you, or the lack thereof.
Listen, we've been out longer than you said, Vicente.
Look, check the readings, clamp on the side, and I'll go out on my own. I'll be 20 minutes, and then we'll be back, and Maria won't know any different. Well, I'll grab some rock samples on the way.
Maria, who's Maria?
Maria is the Irish MD, right?
Oh, the anatomist. Oh God, yeah, her. Sorry, I'll... See, you're making me forget people. All I can think about is Ursula, the hot Russian. Oh.
Each of their own, I suppose. So, are you going to help me or what? Look, this could be the discovery of a lifetime. This could be a completely different species of squid, and we could find something else.
You're not going to have enough oxygen to go out there. We'll carry on in the submersible. We'll go slowly though, because I'm so worried about this. Ursula's gonna kill us. Again, you can hear a bit of faint crackling on the radio, but nothing's coming through.
I check some of the readings, and I kind of get the little gripper arm and kind of grab some, as we kind of a lower portion of the trench. I'll grab some rock samples with a little kind of grippy arm outside, just to make it look like we were doing what we're supposed to do.
Okay, so you'll do that. That's going to slow you down somewhat, but Yoshi will slow down for a bit so he can take some rock samples, and he'll carry on going down the trench, and you hit that S-bend, and you travel for probably another 5 or 6 minutes that you can imagine. If you're checking your watch, you'll notice that it's about 5 or 6 minutes, and then you get to the other side, and where you imagine that you would get out the other side and see that formation or that that structure, you find that you're almost back where you started before the S-bend, before getting to that structure, and again you can see it in the distance. Watcher, do you want to embellish?
So, again, I'm trying to think. So, there's seaweed, waving. It's almost the way it moves is almost like the tentacles.
What sort of out of the side?
Yeah, out the side.
Yoshi turns around to you, Vicente, and just says, "We should be there now."
Vicente nods in agreement.
I'm gonna cut the scene and play a card.
Okay.
How do I play the card?
Just drag it onto the desk. So open it up and then just drag it onto the desktop, onto the table.
Okay. Cool. So that. Let me just. Can I get it? Can I increase the size of it?
Yeah, Rob, your play area is quite small actually, so I don't know whether you might want to make it bigger.
My player.
Play area. So, like, if I move mine up like this, like, watch.
Oh yeah,
it disappears. So, if you want to have the cards sort of readable, you need it a bit bigger, if you can.
How did you increase the size of the card, Ed?
So you highlight it and just drag the bottom corner of it.
Yeah.
Or you need a bit more?
No, I think that's alright. It's just so we've got a place to put the cards and they're readable.
Okay.
Like this. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not getting... Oh, there you go. Oh no, I'm just moving it.
That's me doing that.
Oh, cool. Okay,
No,
so
you've got like a comedy Paul Daniels sized card now.
I know it's gigantic, isn't it? So
Okay,
the bizarrery. You may play this card after seeing that introduced phenomena of interest to science, or which appear to defy conventional scientific theory. So my theory is that I introduced a weirdness in time space. For example,
Okay. This is all falling into my evil plot, so that's fine.
Yeah. So basically, it's like part 2. It's like introduce space, strange effects. Not I can't read it now. Explicable by science. So that's what it was, rather than the targeted on objects, plants or animals. It's basically just where you are. Is a bit odd.
okay, so
Well, it's targeted on the submarine, I guess, isn't it? Like you've done like a kind of weird time, spatial loop.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll leave it to you to decide that, whether it's on a submarine or whether it's an area effect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need to get into detail.
So is the clue that the submarine didn't get, didn't travel any closer despite?
Yeah, basically the clue is that you've basically ended up where you were after traveling for about 40 minutes. So you've kind of gone into a weird loop, or you've got lost.
Okay, cool. Can I just check how many scenes do we have before we do part 2? That's the bit I can't remember.
It's 5,
We
right?
have another 2. Yeah, five scenes, then we go into part 2. So we have another 2 to go.
Okay, cool.
So jump into conclusions.
Okay. I love this game.
It's my turn as witness again, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
It's something that I don't know if it's in the book or not, but it's something that Jason did when we were playing last. And I think I might do that next time I'm narrator.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a watcher to step in, if you just do that.
I can't see either of you on my camera. It's weird, but
Oh really?
was it a Twix?
Oh no, it's just kind of throwing a finger or putting a hand in the air. That way you can, or give the V.
Okay, I'll do the traditional Twixage. Then
Cool.
give you an opportunity to.
I didn't realise you couldn't see us. That's a bit.
Yeah, it's a feature. It's a feature at the moment with this laptop. So I'm cursed with the Chromebook without the App Store yet. So.
Okay.
I could drop out, but I don't want the on air to get messed up.
I think it would. I think the on air would only mess up if it was me that dropped out.
Okay, well I can try and drop out and rejoin. It does sometimes sort itself out.
Yeah.
If you want to wait a minute before we start the next one, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's see if it still works when I use the app.
Can you see us?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I didn't want you to miss me wearing a vest again.
Yeah, or your face of horror as the reveal happens.
The beauty and horror, like one of the slan.
Alright, so Edwin is the narrator this time, so whenever you're ready, Edwin.
Okay, give me a sec. I'm just trying to think what my clue might be. Okay. So the scene starts with Explorer 1 with Yoshi and Vicente arriving at the Challenger base. So you're just outside the Challenger base. You've restored contact with the base, just as you get a bit closer. And question, basically, Maria's kind of saying, "Well, where did you go? What happened? You lost contact. Are you all right?"
We're all right. All fine here.
Oh, there was a gigantic squid, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, we encountered a possible new species of squid in the trench. I also observed some anomalous lights that might have been signs of some sort of underground structure.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
We got stuck in some weird time warp as well. Tell me about that, Vin.
So suddenly, like, you hear a kind of crackle, and the mic's like Jay's voice comes over the mic and says, "I want you to come back into the base immediately and report to me. We need some paperwork to be completed. It's very important."
No. This guy with his paperwork again. Yeah, yes, understood. We're on our way in.
Okay, so you dock the little submarine within the kind of like the docking station, I guess. And as you sort of shut one door, and the water sort of draws out of all the vents, and then like the big doors of the inner part of the Challenger base kind of open up. It's like so I think most of the main people are there, actually. Jay's certainly there, Maria's there, and Ursula are there. Yeah, so all three of them are there. They're kind of dwarfed by obviously the scale. It's like a point where you realise the sort of scale of these machines, and like what you thought was quite a small submarine is actually like kind of is quite big because of the amount of sort of armour and coating it needs to kind of defend itself against the pressure of the water and all the sort of equipment and stuff. So it's kind of dripping with sort of seawater and stuff, and it's got kind of debris on it and stuff. And the kind of the door of your sub kind of opens. It's kind of an echoey chamber.
Take a breath of like not quite fresh air, but clean.
Not quite so recycled.
Yeah. So climb out of the hatch and hop down.
Ursula is looking pissed with you.
Hi, Ursula.
Idiot.
You've got some questions to answer. You went offline for at least 35 minutes, possibly 40 minutes. We need a full report on that. Plus, we need to hear a little bit more about your findings down in the trench. I expect a full video interview session at 2800 hours. No, that's not even in time, is it? 2000 hours.
the precious.
It's the future. It's the future. There could be 2800 hours.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, Vicente will be, downloading the logs, to the video logs to back up his report.
Okay. So you've you'll kind of hand over the video logs to you're still in the docking bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Ursula goes, "Oh my God, what is this? You're better at Russian accents than me, clearly."
Yeah, we got a bit banged up. We may have got a bit too close to the squid, I guess.
What did you do to my ship, you silly man? She rushes past you and just kind of lovingly touches the sub and says,
yeah, it's at that point you see the giant sort of tentacle that's kind of hooked into the power supply area of the submarine. It must be a good 15 foot of the end of a tentacle is kind of attached.
Ooh, Yoshi, get over here.
And it's kind of there's electricity kind of piping up it a little bit.
Yoshi, come on.
Holy shit. This is so awesome.
You ever seen anything like this?
No, but I am going to get a few samples. You can see that he's already got some gloves on and a little medikit, and this, I can tell you right now, is something that I've never seen. I'm going to go to the Tokyo Bureau of Aquatic Marine Life, and I am going to send some samples. This is amazing. We have to go back out there. There's got to be more of these things. I mean, he's like a pig in shit. He's loving it.
Yeah. So as you approach the giant sort of rendered tentacle that's been attached to the ship, you see it kind of glows briefly, and you can see sort of some weird kind of writing or runes on it just appear as the electricity sort of funnels down the tentacle. You can see a set of regular shapes that aren't kind of organic. They're kind of clearly sort of markings, and then it kind of dissipates. It kind of as the electricity sort of passes through the end of its kind of non-body tentacle.
Did you see that, Yoshi?
What?
Some sort of phosphorescent, reaction to the electricity.
No. And you can actually see that he's got a bit of the tentacle in his mouth.
Yoshi!
Hey! This is fresh squid.
I'm going to end the scene there.
I can do that because I'm half Japanese, so there's nothing racist there.
So, any new traits for?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I can't think of anything. We've kind of introduced something that's reasonably kind of out there in Act 4.
Yeah, I think it's in line with the what is it? Introduce strange effects not explicable by science.
Okay, yeah, and it actually works to introduce clear evidence of pre-human civilization technology.
Yeah, so that's what I'm sort of suggesting, is it's like not actually necessarily like an animal. It could be like a construct or something like that.
Okay, so your clue is the alien, the strange writing.
The strange writing on the giant tentacle, energy sapping tentacle. Am I allowed that many clues in one thing, in one sentence?
Strange writing on the gigantic alien energy sapping.
The bog standard giant squid tentacle that saps, that may or may not be sapping energy. Maybe the runes were too much, but we'd already established it. The tentacles we'd already established, right? And we'd already established the energy sapping nature of them. So it's the runes.
So strange writing is the...
Yeah.
So just let me know when you're finished with your conclusions.
Okay, we've got one more scene before part 2, right? So I can do that, and then I'll need a bio break. So
yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit! So maybe we couldn't have introduced those because it's part 2, right? Oh no, part 2 is the next one down.
Yeah. So you can become more overt with the ones that you've already introduced.
Gotcha.
All right. So I'm now the narrator. Isa is the witness, and Edwin is the watcher. Okay. If you guys are ready.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been, you've been taken into one of the the office, a small office that Jay Brooks keeps, to deal with, do his paperwork and such, and he's going through. He's gone through like the paperwork with you first. First of all, get that out of the way, and now he's starting to question you about the actual events. So you're claiming that you saw some sort of structure down there?
It's not a claim. I know that it definitely happened. I think I've got some video evidence of that as well. There is something out there, I'm telling you.
Are they being interviewed at the same time? So Yoshi's there at the same time? Or is it just Jay and Vicente?
Let's say it's Jay and then Yoshi. Yoshi will be interviewed separately. You want to get
okay? No, that's fine. So it's just between you two. I think that's cool because that will be quite a cool one-on-one thing. So I just want to check.
Cool.
So you but you didn't find anything after, what was it, 30 minutes you were trying to follow this trail?
Yeah, we seem to have. I don't know. The channel went into a bit of a bend, and I think we got lost and just came back out the other end. What I can say, Jay, and this will be good for your career, and this will be certainly good for my reputation within the scientific community, is there's energy there. And I know, Jay, that, you know, we're funded by, you know, XCOM gas, and hey, this could be very good for both of us.
I think Jay looks sort of agitated, somewhat, I think.
Mm-hmm. We've reviewed the video footage from the submersible, and there is no evidence of any structure of any kind. We didn't see any lights or anything.
Well, I mean, Yoshi can back me up. There's something definitely out there, and if you could give me another run at it, I'm sure we can get something.
Yoshi, actually, never mind. He is seeming. When you mention Yoshi, he seems a bit more agitated.
Is everything all right, Jay?
Yoshi has been taken to med lab.
What do you mean? He seemed fine a moment ago.
You notice that the recorder isn't actually recording anything at the moment.
Joe, what the hell's going on? You're freaking me out. What the hell's happened to Yoshi?
I'm sure he'll be fine. But you are not to investigate this any further. Forget you saw anything.
Jay, come on, man, level with me. You sound like a man in black right now.
It is best for all of us that you forget what you saw.
This is bullshit, man. Who's got to you?
Nobody's got me.
Yeah, thanks for confirming, man. Thanks for confirming. Man, there's no one else down here except for us. What harm can it do?
You're free to go.
I've made copies.
I've
made copies.
I'm sure you have. Just trust me. This is not something you want to look into.
He leaves, but he's going to make a beeline for Medbay.
Okay, and we'll end the scene there.
Cool. Oof.
Okay, so the clue there is obviously that Jay is trying
He's
to
well dodge.
Jay is trying to cover up what you saw.
Okay. I think I've got it.
Well, I've got something as well, which will get turned upside down in next couple of scenes.
One's coming along nicely, I have to say.
Mine is a little bit messy, but not out of the not
Yeah.
unsalvageable. Okay, so we are at the end of the fifth scene. So the narrator of the next scene reads out the next part of the teaching guide.
Ooh.
That would be Issa, I think.
Me, yeah. Where the hell is? Oh, there you go. So where are we? Is it the
161.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. So part one of the game has just ended. Starting with the next scene, at the end of any scene, the witness can begin the journey into darkness that will lead us to the climax of our story, the final horror. The final horror will happen somewhere dark, ancient, remote, or abandoned. This can happen in three ways. If at the end of the scene the witness decides to go somewhere that looks like a likely candidate for the location of the final horror, and if he feels like it's time, the player of the witness can initiate the journey with that location as the end point. If so, the next scene is the journey into darkness. Alternatively, if after a part two scene, the new narrator wishes to begin the journey, they can do so by deciding where the final horror will take place and initiating a force majeure scene in which events conspire to force a witness to head for the location. Finally, if after three part two scenes neither of the above has happened, part three begins automatically with a force majeure scene. The narrator of that scene will decide the location of the final horror.
Oh, before we go on, did we have any extra traits to add to Vicente?
Ooh, Defiant?
Yeah, that works. What do you think, Grid?
What was that? Sorry, defiant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or
Suspicious.
suspicious, or something that, has made him feel, hang on a minute. I want to...
Paranoid?
Paranoid can work as well, yeah.
Okay.
Because he went like, oh, you're sounding Men in Black, which fair he was, but
Yeah, I mean, he did say they've got you, haven't they? You sound like a man in black. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
let's go for Paranoid. Yeah, defo.
okay. So you're the narrator this time, Issa. So if you want to start us off.
Do you want to buy a break?
Oh yeah.
Good choice. Yeah, that'd be good.
Buy a break.
Let's have like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Yep,
sounds
that's
good.
fine. See you in a bit. Hello.
Oh.
You're muted, Ed. You also think he's frozen.
He does look frozen, doesn't he? Oh no, he's... you back? You back, Ed? You're muted.
Only joking. That's when you actually freeze then, and everyone's like, has he frozen or is he just standing there doing this? Only joking. Right, you better get serious now, man. This is Journey into Darkness time.
Not yet. Well, not quite yet.
Okay, so I've been thinking about it. Am I the narrator?
Issa's the narrator.
I'm the narrator.
You're the witness.
Okay.
And you are the witness or the watcher?
I'm the watcher. Edwin's the witness.
Okay, alright. That's ruined my entire plan. That's fine.
That's the beauty of this narrative. You can't control all of it.
Stupid GMless games. Okay. Right, it's your scene then, buddy.
It is. I'm just formulating. Okay, so so the scene begins in the rec sort of canteen area of the sort of the substation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those kind of sort of metal chairs, sort of aluminium, tables, all the not aluminium, sort of metal tables with sort of kind of grates in them, and all the kitchen utensils are sort of metal, and it's got a reasonably sterile feel about it.
Sort of utilitarian to the max.
Cushions. Yeah, but you've kind of got a few cushions and home comforts floating around, like a cushion with a butterfly on it and stuff, which seems reasonably out of place, but kind of gives a bit of a homely edge to an otherwise sort of cold environment. I mean, you are underwater, you're surrounded by sort of cold blackness, and this gives a small contrast to that. So you're in there, and you can see Maria and usually the hard-ass, hard-faced Ursula kind of huddled together, talking and sort of crying, really. And you sort of walk in, and you see the two of these women sort of consoling each other.
So is this en route to the medical bay, which you said we were heading towards?
It is. You kind of have to. The rec room is actually it's part of the pathway through. So you walk through corridors. You're in this sort of space that has got like exits on each wall, as it were, if it's a square room. So it's kind of like a central hub where all people can get there. And as you're walking through that particular bit, you see the two of them crying.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm just reading the ongoing effects just to get an idea of what's going on potentially. Okay, I say, where's Yoshi? Where's Yoshi?
Maria sort of just sobs even harder and doesn't even look at you. Ursula looks round at you, her eyes sort of red rimmed. He didn't make it.
How did he not make it? It's been like an hour since I last saw him. Perfectly healthy.
The squid must be contaminated. He had a very bad reaction. That's silly man.
I don't believe you. Are you with him?
Maria looks up at you and just says, What are you talking about, you heartless bastard?
I'm heartless. You're the one covering stuff up. Where is he? Show me his body. I need to see his body.
I don't want to go in there. You know where he is. He's in Medbay. What are you talking about? With who? Covering what up?
You're just... I sort of shake my head and kind of just push past them and like head towards the med bay.
So you enter med bay and yes.
So as he's on his way to medbay, the lights, there's like these strip lights on the corridor heading there, and they're sort of really harsh white light on him as he's almost bone white. Bleaches the corridor in bone white.
Nice.
Yeah. So Jay's not with you.
Yeah, so I'm looking around like this, so I'm imagining like a swaying kind of that sort of swaying camera effect as you're sort of like and like looking around and kind of sweating a bit as the kind of white light kind of as I'm heading towards the medical bay. Yeah,
and you kind of get in that of those sort of halogen lights sort of flickering every now and again, and the usual hum that these sort of these substations give off, generators and whatnot, they seem somewhat louder, and there's just definitely an atmosphere.
Like closing in, lots of noise, like all the background noises are a lot louder. Yeah.
You're feeling very claustrophobic now, and you continue to walk down the corridor towards Medbay. Sorry. So you round the corner, and there's. There it is in front of you, Medbay, and it's got the symbol of the serpent coiled around the scepter. You go in, presumably.
So I grab the door. Do they have door handles? I don't know whether they would, or the button that would open the.
I think they've got the.
Oh, they've got like kind of things.
Yeah, either kind of yank them down so you can. If there's a leak, you can
lock it down, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hold my hands on that a minute. I sort of wipe my brow. I kind of hesitate for a moment, and then I open the door.
I mean, it's cold in here. Colder than any other area of the station, but then again, people don't generally get too ill, and if they do, they will take meds. This is chilled in here, and in one corner, you can see one of the medical beds with a curtain pulled through, and the medical curtains are reasonably like semi-opaque, aren't they? So you can see, a figure with sort of covers drawn over their entire body, unmoving, completely still.
Okay, so I'm imagining it's all dark except for like there's a light coming from behind the plastic curtain, so you can just the outline of the body, and like then there's a plastic curtain, and like there's just black around it, kind of thing, just to sort of draw.
Yeah, I mean,
the thing.
I mean, your entire being, your focus is drawn that is a nexus point of your attention, really. And as I say, the body lying on sort of the medical bed is unmoving. You can't see any breath from where you are.
Okay, I sort of. I'm just trying. I don't think I've done my hesitating. I think I'll just see it and I'll just rush towards it and just draw back the curtains really quickly like that.
So you draw back the curtains, and in front of you is indeed the body of Yoshi, and he's a corpse. He's a corpse. I mean, if you care to touch him, you'll feel his cold body.
Okay, I sort of break down a bit. I think I sort of because I feel sort of partly responsible for like driving him down there. I mean, even though he was like big into the tentacles, I kind of encouraged him to go further. So I feel a lot of guilt. So I'm like, I'm sort of bent over the bed, like crying on the edge of it, kind of sort of half crumpled over.
So you're there, and you're suddenly feeling very emotional. As you said, you felt responsible. He was a mate. He was a friend of yours, and a colleague, and you spent a lot of time together. You're welling up. You're tearing up, and through the blurriness of your tears, you, for a moment, you think you see a light emanating from Yoshi. But at the moment you kind of get the tears out of your eyes, you're suddenly very compos mentis again, and your adrenaline's pumping. You look, and again, it's just a normal corpse.
What, like mouth and eyes?
No, more like a glow around him. Like there's a rippling of something.
Okay, right.
If you were to kind of put a connection together, it could be the shifting of letters or ancient runes or whatever. But
okay. It wasn't obvious enough. It was like a kind of really quick kind of the similar sort of ripple effect from the tentacle, but not with the obvious lettering.
But, you couldn't tell because obviously your eyes were tear filled. And the moment you came to, he was just him again, and that's the scene.
Okay. I'm violently sick on the floor. And then it's the same. How's that?
Cool.
Okay, so Yoshi's body. Glowing question mark?
Yeah, so I'd say, Yoshi's body glowing. And that was the use of, if I go back to Roll20, on my card, we had part 2, extend the strange effects to humans other than the witness. So I guess I introduced, or actually it's probably more in line with yours, Ed, with introduce clear evidence of pre-human civilization and technology. Well, really technology, perhaps. The same thing that affected the squid was affecting Yoshi, perhaps.
All right, so it looks like it's my turn to be the witness next. And Issa is the watcher. Edwin is the narrator. Let's jump to some conclusions and then start the next scene. Damn it, now my entire theory might have changed.
Mine's all very much going to plan, so it's good. My evil mastermind plan. Which is unusual because last time I was like, WTF?
Yeah. Mine's excuse me, mine's developing quite well actually, as well.
I think that the starters, the sheets really tighten it up a bit, you know. So like, yeah, is it? I'm trying to work out whether it's less of a mystery because you've kind of got a set idea of like 3 or 4 or 5 options that it might end up being, or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like with like no pointers whatsoever, it could be any kind of story, can't it? So
These certainly give you a bit more focus.
yeah, so it's good. I think the stories are tighter as a result of it, but
Yeah.
it's don't know. Okay, is it me?
Yep.
Okay, so as you stand up and turn round, wiping the sick from your mouth, the 3 figures enter the room. It's Jay at the lead, Maria and Ursula.
What is this? What's going on? What happened to Yoshi?
It's time.
What you mean it's time?
They say in unison. It is time you came with us.
What are you talking about? Came with you where? What is going on?
The time for explanations are over. You must come with us.
So we're in a med lab, right? So, Vicente would, like back up towards one of the, the trays and pick up maybe some sort of medical instrument.
Okay. So, Ursula being the stereotypically cliched lodge Russian female engineer, she rushes towards you to try and grab you and subdue you down onto the ground.
So I'm gonna try and push her off.
Okay. I'm not sure how physical interactions happen, isn't it? It just happens like you don't normally win, right?
I tell you what the witness tells the narrator what they're going to attempt to do. The narrator gets to say whether they succeed or fail.
Okay, let's say you stick Ursula in the neck with a scalpel as she grabs you. Like she grabs you, you go like that. No blood comes out of her body.
Step back and push away and step back in shock, and then I'm eyes darting between Maria and Ursula and Jay, and I'm just gonna try and dart for the door.
You feel a cold hand grab you by the wrist.
Oh.
You look down and it's Yoshi's corpse. Nothing else has moved except for his arm, and he's just got a hold of you in a vice-like grip.
Okay, and then out of the darkness, so there's like flickering lights kind of thing. It's very dark. It's like a greeny, sea green, underlit face of Jay. He says, "It's time we fed them," and he pulls out like this kind of kind of strange sort of tentacle-shaped object, which sort of fires this sort of kind of net around you, and you sort of are stuck and frozen and kind of pass out.
Oh, okay. Okay. That was force majeure then.
I suppose it probably could. Maybe I've overdone it. Maybe I cooked it a little bit. I couldn't help it.
It definitely feels like he's being maneuvered towards the final journey. The journey into darkness there. So
I guess so. Yeah. So yeah, I suppose that any subsequent scene would be under duress, I guess.
So let's read number 2 again. Alternatively, if after a part 2 scene the new narrator wishes to begin the journey, they can do so by deciding where the final horror will take place. Maybe you've decided, and initiating a force majeure scene in which events conspire to force a witness to head for that location. You've webbed poor Vinny. And
yeah, so I'm calling on the alien technology, right? The pre-human civilization / technology.
yeah.
With that was the clue. Although there were probably a few clues in there, so I'd chuck a couple in there.
Excuse me.
It's your call. You're the narrator now, right? So if you want to call Rob is the narrator, right?
I'm trying to think where the location would be then. Because what locations do we have?
Well, I was thinking it's going to be the buildings or whatever in the trench, right? But
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be.
I guess you could smash cut anywhere, right?
All right.
So I mean, I was thinking the journey would be like in one of the little explorers type thing.
So okay. Let's record what the clue was there. It was the weird tentacle gun thingy.
Yeah. I was trying to make it not sound really Star Trek-y, but it sort of did, didn't it? Sorry about that.
Clue: weird tentacle gun.
That's completely blown my theory out of the water.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's kind of like a kind of William Burroughs-esque, kind of weirdly, horrifically organic kind of Cronenberg-esque kind of, organic sea gun thing.
Weird body horror gun, organic gun.
Yeah.
It's almost like spluffing tentacles at you.
Yeah.
So should I change the weird tentacle jizz gun, or?
If you like, yeah.
Nice.
If we're going to record it for posterity, then that's the best description.
Sorry, I forgot we were recording.
Weird tentacle jizz gun. You said it.
Oh, Rob. Okay.
You might want to put some sort of PG-13 warning on this.
Yeah. or if we could learn some editing skills, that'd be good.
Okay. A parasite. Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking. All right. So I'm the narrator. Issa is now the witness, and Edwin is the watcher.
Yeah, I've moved them around. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's up to you. You can have a scene yourself, or you can call Journey in the Darkness. If we're doing Journey in the Darkness, where you have to read the next bit.
Okay, so I would say we're doing the Journey into Darkness then, because it seems pretty clear that we're being pushed. That the witness is now on his way there.
Okay.
And I'm going to say there is the underground structure, the underwater structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
hang on, you've got to read the journey before the Journey into Darkness.
Yep. So we're about to start a new part of the game called the Journey into Darkness. This part is a single extended scene, and during this scene, we're all going to take turns describing the journey to the location of the final horror. A turn doesn't involve a lot of talking, just a few sentences. On your turn, unlike the rest of the game, you have a free choice over what role to take. If you choose to be narrator, you describe the environment and move the journey on. If you choose to be witness, you describe their inner thoughts and fears. If you choose to be watcher, you elaborate on whatever the previous player described. We play through at least 12 turns. Starting with the 12th turn, if we choose to be narrator, then we can describe the witness's arrival at the location of the final horror and end the journey. On the 16th step, if we get that far, we must do this. Okay, so I'm going to start off as narrator. Vicente comes to, he finds himself still stuck inside this web, almost like seaweed type web, which the tentacle gun fired at him, and he hears the distinctive noise of the turbines, the turbine engine of the Explorer around him, and knows that he's in one of the Explorers. I'll pass on to Isa.
Again, narration. He goes through moments of lucidity, then passes out, feeling very weak and very uncertain of what's happening. He looks through the webbing, his eyes poking through, frantically looking around, and he can look out of one of the windows of the submersible and see that there are sort of giant squid and all manner of sea life, almost following or escorting the sub to its final destination. Every so often he can see ripples of light and what might be strange language.
With me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so eventually the Explorer reaches the ruins that were the lit ruins that were seen at the beginning. You can see the outside of the. Can you do that? Like beyond the awareness of the witness? You can, can't you now?
Yeah, I mean you're narrating, so.
Yeah, so you see the outside of the Explorer as it reaches towards the twinkling lights of the ruins that were seen right at the start, and you also see like this kind of like dome-like bubble over the top of it, as the submarine sort of pierces through it and like just falls from water into air and sort of crashes to the ground. That's it.
Okay. Right. Vicente, his eyes darting around, is he hears that the turbines have stopped, and he's breathing heavily. He's wondering what's about to happen. What's happened to his crew mates? Why are they doing this? Where are they taking him?
Let me get out this alive. Let me get out this alive. I won't watch another fucking Star Trek movie again.
He comes to consciousness as blood in his eye. The Explorer is kind of a wreckage of sort of smoke. All the other crew members are sort of strewn left, right, and centre, and he kind of crawls loose and towards like the smashed front window of the dome of the submarine, and he kind of crawls. So he crawls free out, and he kind of looks out, and there's like kind of like ruins, but he's got no. It's like there's like air. I will add one other thing. There is a huge, dark lake at the centre of the ruins.
So, what you say his crewmates are strewn around. So what you mean strewn? Like, are they standing there, or what?
Yeah. So what's happened is they've kind of hit the air bubble, and then there's obviously no water, so it's just fallen out of water onto the ground, and in a crash. So they've it's like a crash scene.
Okay, so he Vicente staggers away from the he pulls himself to his feet and staggers away from the crash scene, looking around at his crewmates, and turning towards the strange black lake.
There's a sound that begins. It starts very quietly, but it starts to intensify. It's this sort of humming almost, or boom 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 boom. And as he starts to kind of look around this cavernous space, this ruin with this huge lake in the center of it, there are almost like runes begin to light up very slowly, almost in tandem with the sound, and it's almost like a landing light. So so the lights seem to go from him towards the lake, and keep on sort of moving that way, as if drawing him to that darkness.
Is it me?
It is.
As he's sort of drawn, he looks round, and there are like hundreds of sort of figures of sort of dark, long-limbed beings, all kind of glowing with these sort of runes, kind of walking sort of slowly towards him, sort of surrounding him, sort of forcing him towards the darkness of the lake. To the point, Vicente kind of starts sort of walking backwards and realises that like his foot is kind of put into the icy cold sort of Icarus lake.
Okay. Vicente is he's sort of squeezing his eyes shut and like whispering to himself, like wake up now, wake up now, wake up now, wake up now.
Okay, go on then.
He wakes up, and he's exactly where he was a moment ago. It's not a dream. It's always been reality. And he's walking deeper into the lake. He's up to his waist now, up to his stomach, up to his neck. The waters are filling his mouth. He keeps walking. Ed?
Okay. And as he kind of, there's a sort of moment of clarity in the water, and he sort of reaches out, and he feels like a tentacle, and then he sees like these giant, huge eyes of this sort of being that goes on for all eternity.
Okay. Does anyone want to hang on? Okay, is there
As it's rising out of the pool.
So are you going to choose to be narrator at this point, or is anybody else, Issa?
Well, I think Ed has begun the final piece, isn't he? He's kind of he's shot his wad again.
Yeah.
The jizz gun's
Sorry. Well,
the jizz gun's gone off.
That is the final horror, isn't it?
Yeah. You've presented.
Well, we could go back, and you can say in the water.
No, it's okay. He's reached the location of the final horror. So to the left of the last narrator reads this part out. That would be me. We're about to reach the final scene of the game. The witness is going to see the true horror that is so far only been hinted at. This scene will either involve a direct encounter with a monster. Yeah, you kind of. Yeah, okay. Or a revelation of world-shattering. Or a revelation of world-shattering proportions, or maybe both. One of us has to volunteer to decide what that true horror is and be the narrator for the scene. We've all been writing our ideas down as we go, so this shouldn't be too hard. The narrator should aim to weave a horror that explains all of the clues we've seen so far, but they needn't explain it all to us during the scene itself.
Ed, as you've kind of begun almost the scene, do you want to just do the last bit?
Yeah, well, if that's all right, because I've got quite a fairly solid idea.
Yeah,
unless somebody else is.
No. I think what we've done in the past is why don't you go, and then Ed, Rob, and
we can talk about what your theories were.
Yeah. So how about you go? I mean, we've got loads of time still, so how about you go first, and then we can just do our bits.
Okay. So the horror sort of scoops him up in one of his giant sort of tentacled fingers, and kind of observes him for a moment. And kind of rises up, sort of immense in its size from the pool, freed from its prison, its millennial prison at last. As you sort of pan back from the bubble, all of the hundreds of sort of worshippers, which include the 3 members of the crew that kind of crawled out of the wreckage, are sort of worshipping this kind of titanic Cthulhuoid being, let's say. And as he kind of looks down at the tired husk of Vicente, he just crushes him in its immense hand, as it sort of rises finally out of the giant lake.
Nice.
The end.
Fade to black.
So after that, there's an epilogue. So our story had the new narrator would be me, I guess, because Edwin was the narrator last time. So our story has concluded, but we're going to have an epilogue to reveal a little of what happens next, both to the witness and also to the horror they encountered.
Jizz gun has gone off, man.
But just narrate it either as a scene or a series of short scenes, or perhaps through another medium like a newspaper article that we read aloud. The narrator's role is to decide what happens to the horror. They have to show how the horror is still out there in the world in some form. Even if our witness somehow managed to defeat the horror, the narrator's job is to show that this was a hollow victory with no long-term impact. Witness reads the next part.
Is that me?
Yep.
And a minute. Long-term impact. The player of the witness says, "What has become of our central character?" They have to show how the witness's life has been destroyed by the things they have seen. Even if the witness died, they will show how the effects of their encounter with the horror rippled out after their death. By the way, we can narrate these two segments, the fate of the witness and the fate of the horror, in either order, or interweave the two.
Okay. Next watcher.
Is that me?
Yep.
Yeah.
During the epilogue, anyone who wants to add elaborations and details onto what the others narrate, including the narrator and the witness themselves. Anyone who, yeah. We want to spin a doom-laden ending and really lay it on thick, so don't hold back. Oops. The one exception to this is that only the witness themselves can narrate their thoughts, fears, and rationalizations. Do not elaborate on these. Okay, so I'm thinking we wind it back, right, to the point where it sort of rises out of the pool and looks down at Vicente in his hand, and then you guys, I'll let you decide what the fate of.
Okay, so you want to. So you want to start as a witness and decide what happens to him first, and then.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to completely retcon that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, totally fine.
So Vicente looks at the horror before him, the gigantic horror, and he's standing there in the palm of this beast's hand. He looks around and he can see the worshippers of this horror on their knees, mumbling and humming tunes of worship. He looks up again at this horror, and in defeat and fear, he gets down on his knees and prays to this being in front of him for salvation, for his life, for anything that will allow him to keep on living his wretched life. Denied.
So, we cut forward to sometime later. The crew have returned from the expedition and brought back samples of some sort of strange biological specimen to present to their fellow scientists. Anyone want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so I think they. I'm just trying to think how that would go. Yeah, I think there's a sort of few scenes of people kind of taking samples and sort of looking at them in the microscope, and then kind of looking up with like sort of slightly darkened eyes, going and sort of nodding like furiously and like enthusiastically about it.
Yeah. Can I smash cut to a different scene as well?
Mm-hmm.
It's a busy back-end street in Tokyo, and Yoshi is working in a new, very exclusive sushi bar. It's the rage of the city, and he is there serving up some of the best squid sushi the Tokyo food scene has seen. And it's been advertised in lots of magazines saying this is the new Michelin star sushi place. Thus
It's to die for.
It's to die for. Once you taste it, you'll be changed forever.
Lovely.
Cut. So that was Lovecraftesque.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good one.
Thanks very much for facilitating, Rob. That was awesome.
Yeah, great. Do you want me to take you through my theories, and then like you can take me through your theories?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
man.
sure.
So mine's pretty straightforward. So that's probably why I was sort of quite a strong contender, because I had kind of quite a clear vision from early on, I guess. Which is, as I say, is not like last time. I was like, I sort of know where this might go, but I'm not entirely sure. So I've never stepped up. So this is the first time. So I put ancient alien race have been awoken by the power of the submarine and will seek the base to awaken their master. So I've put trapped interdimensionally, which is your weird time loop thing.
Right.
And then ancient alien race, blah blah blah. Squids are alien probes for the trapped interdimensional ancient alien race. And then I've put Jay is an agent for the secret society, which is your scene when you were interviewing him. And then I stopped actually writing stuff because I just had a very clear view of like, because it's sort of at that point it's like it was very clear. I think Yoshi was dead and he had the sort of electric. We had just basically did recurring themes at that point. Yeah, so it was about awakening some sort of master creature with an alien race, and everyone on the boat. It was only towards the end that I thought, oh, maybe everyone is somehow involved or being infected in order to get Vicente to the point of kind of awakening the being. So
awesome. What was yours, Rob?
So mine started out similar to Ed's, like it was like the tomb of a dead god, and I was like, I'm trying not to be too
classic.
Too much. Yeah, I'm trying not to do it too much like Cthulhu. So I was like, okay, so maybe it's actually like the radio signal. I decided. I thought, okay, so this is maybe a quarantine, like stay away signal.
Yeah.
And this ancient civilization fell prey to some sort of parasite.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I was when I brought the stuff in with Jay later on, I was like, okay, so the government has picked up this signal before, and they've actually sent him to keep an eye on things here to make sure that nobody gets too close.
Yeah.
That would have been way cooler.
Mine was actually similar to both of yours. So it kind of started off as, you know, when you mentioned temple, I immediately jumped on the sort of the god, ancient god bandwagon, but I quickly changed it to something that was a little bit more viral. So rather than Signal, like in Rob's example, mine was a sort of an inorganic virus. So it was a synthetic virus, like an alien virus. And what it was doing was it was infecting biological, like marine life. And then when Yoshi ate some of it, he was then infected by the virus as well. And that would then begin to change him. And again, sort of the runes were way that the virus could communicate or whatever, or attract prey. I kind of felt a little bit when we went through that kind of stage where the other three members of the team went apeshit. But I figured they'd somehow got infected as well. And I was kind of in my mind, that pool at the end was almost like the sort of the tank where this organic virus was. And anyone that went into it and consumed it would be infected, and then they'd go back up to the world and start kind of converting, changing, altering surface-dwelling life forms as well. So,
yeah, I thought about avoiding the kind of great old one type style story, but like none of the other ones that I've done have ever been like that, like a giant kind of crazy creature. Like one was like a cultist thing, wasn't it, where it was like a weird village cult, and the other one was actually like a more of a kind of I can't remember the name of the famous ghost writer, but sort of M.R. James type. It was like one of those where it was like one of those coming to realization that they were actually dead already kind of stories.
right.
And so it was really spooky, rather than kind of like your classic. So I thought I'd kind of go a bit more classic this time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
Yep.
As we were under the sea.
Yeah, it kind of felt, you know, Cthulhu's meant to be under the ocean somewhere anyway, isn't he? Waiting to be awoken.
Yeah, so I thought exactly, if I'm going to take an opportunity to do it,
Why not?
Yes,
this is a prime example.
This is it.
That is not dead, which eternal lies.
Exactly. It makes me think of that. There's like a music video. Have you seen the music video with where there's like a swimming pool and it's like teenagers having fun in the swimming pool, and then it sort of somehow gets really weird, and like then at the end, like it's like one of the teenagers sort of facing down all these sort of giant kind of weird creatures, and it ends with the head exploding. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'll have to dig it out. Put it on there. Put it on the link.
Have you seen that sci-fi film with what's her name? Scarlett Johansson.
No. I mean,
No.
Under the Skin.
Under the Skin, yeah. You know when she lures those men into that house and they're kind of floating in that void?
I've seen clips of it. I
Right.
haven't seen the actual film, but I've seen clips of that bit, and it's like they go all sort of grotesque.
Well, there's actually one guy that was sort of disfigured, as one of the people were disfigured. So he was one of the. It probably cut to that scene.
Okay.
But I kind of had in my imagination that when we walked into that Lake Icarus or whatever we want to call it, I just in my head I imagine him floating in this void, and that was kind of this weird synthetic kind of null space that was infected.
Yeah.
And it's just really spooky. Guys, check out that film. It's quite hard to watch, but it's awesome.
Send me a link.
I've had somebody recommend it by with this exact phrasing. It's a great film. Don't watch it.
There are a few of those out there.
Yeah, it's not one that you're likely to watch again.
Yeah, this is it.
But
This is it.
The soundtrack's amazing for it as well. But it's definitely worth a watch at least once, maybe.
That's the one that was filmed in Glasgow, wasn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of it was filmed with her talking to random people, because she's an alien in sort of human disguise, and she drove around in a van and picked people up, and just sort of started talking to them in the van. So it's kind of got this real weird sort of art house feel, yet reality TV feel. It's weird.
All right. So I think we're gonna stop the broadcast there.
Cool.
And I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you do watch this at all,
you should, even though it's the end.
Yeah. And watch out for the jizz cannons.
I thought we're back on the jizz cannons.
Hopefully we'll do another one of these for Little Fears or Noirlandia, which I'll be running next. So see you later.